You're a sight for sore eyes.
I've just realised that we've really got the monochrome going.
Yeah, did you not read the production notes I put
Oh,
together?
sorry. Yeah, they were very, very
If you're not coming to my
long.
fourth birthday party dressed as a zebra, you ain't coming in.
Happy fourth birthday! Oh my God, what a ride.
I don't even know where to begin. Like, it's not often that I'm actually lost for words, but I can't quite articulate or have found the words yet to be like, this is his fourth birthday. 4 years of
Oh, yeah.
waffling. It's just mental. But before we dive into that, how are you?
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Oh, it has been a hot minute. Do you know what? I plugged in this microphone and I was like literally blowing dust off of it. I was like, wow, that's how long it's been since I've been behind the mic,
That's a
as in
crime.
sat behind it. I know. Well, well, I do really enjoy it. Like, you know me, I love the producing, writing side of things. So, that's what I've been kind of focusing on. But yeah, no, it's really nice to be back behind the mic. But I do feel like I've lost brain cells because I get, that thing where you want to say something and you forget all the words for it.
I
That's what happens when you legalize cannabis, guys. Living in
oh,
Canada for 2 years.
okay. This has took
No,
quite a turn.
kidding.
On the old devil's cabbage.
I told you this is what happens when you get me back on the pod. I never know what I'm going to say, but no, it's
Pod
lovely
or
to be
pot?
back. Pod,
Please carry
pod. Please clarify.
like to know that we are not sponsored by marijuana.
Marriage, marijuana. No, it's great to be back. Thank you for having me. I feel actually honored that in order of I was gonna say your 21st birthday. I was like, that would
Thank
be a
you.
lot. Your your fourth birthday that you would have me back. So thank you.
But I wouldn't be waffling with anyone else. It's the fourth
Oh.
birthday. It's a big milestone. And
Hmm.
you've been a huge part of my journey from our first sold out live show together to our critically acclaimed spin-off
That was
series.
2 years ago today, you know that? It's the 5th of March. The live show was 2 years ago to the day. Almost to
Shut
the
up, was
hour.
it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Oh my God. Okay. Oh, I wish I
yeah.
didn't do that.
Well,
Oh, that's mental.
I know. And here
That
we
is
are.
absolutely mental. Back behind the mics, where we belong,
Hmm.
waffling. Obviously, we start the normal show with something called the Weekly
Hmm.
Waffle, where, quite frankly, something's got on my tits. I speak to my guest about it, makes me feel better. I'm not going to do that today because
It's
do you know what? I
changing
want
up.
this is to be quite a it's a nice thing that we're doing, and I want to
Ah.
celebrate. So I'm not going to do the Weekly Waffle. But what I am going to do, and this is going to probably be the most narcissistic thing. I mean, it's probably not the most narcissistic thing I've ever done. If you looked at my Google history, which also sounded really weird. But
It's Taylor James.
Taylor James, Coventry, Taylor James podcast, Taylor James
Oh,
waffle.
he's number one hit. He's number one hit. Yes. I'm still at the
Um,
top.
but I did a really uncomfortable thing for me, and I did a bit of a deep dive
Hmm.
into the episodes and kind of like the stats, and I'd never look at the numbers because that's not what I do it for. And I know that's a really wanky thing to say, but it's true. I don't look at the numbers. I just do it because I genuinely love doing it. But I've done 160 episodes.
Hmm.
I've had over 500,000 downloads. Half a
Oh
million
my
people
God.
have listened.
Wow. I'm
And
shook.
it blows my mind, genuinely saying it, because my family don't even talk to me or listen to me. Yet 500,000 people around the world have listened to talk
Okay,
shit.
lot to unpack there. Might
Yeah.
just skim over
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah.
Um,
That's for next week.
but
Um,
why?
yeah,
Oh my gosh,
mental.
Taylor. Oh,
Wait.
keep going.
Give
Okay.
us a go. Told you, full narcissistic drop this is. I've had two sold out live shows, which is, I don't think I've actually looked back and be like, oh, actually, okay, we we did that.
We did
We
quite,
did
we
that.
did quite
We
well.
did that.
You did
Um,
that, by the way.
we did the live shows I didn't do by myself. Jesus Christ, no chance. It's a lot. Also thank you for everyone to be being a part of that, everyone. We've been top 10 in over 15 countries. And as we're recording, I'm currently at number 3 in the music chart in the whole of the UK.
Wow.
Mad, isn't it?
Do you know what, Taylor? You are just one of those people who can just like I feel like even saying it out loud, you're literally sat there like, ah, but that wasn't, yeah, that was like that was just lucky, or like that was it. Like you did that, you created this whole thing
It's
from
mad.
scratch. Like it is absolutely fucking mental.
But do you know what I love about it though? And it's it's kind of taught me a lot. And I think you get this obviously because of the line of work that you do, obviously from like the Book of First and 20 Not Something. The life lessons that it gives you are
Yeah.
so hard hitting.
Mm.
Like I wouldn't have the life that I have now if I didn't start it. I wouldn't be sat here obviously talking to you. I wouldn't
Hmm.
have be in the relationship that I'm in if I didn't start the podcast. I can't quite put into words genuinely what it's done because it is, I think saying something like, oh, it's changed my life, I don't think it quite sums it up.
Hmm. But that's where the real value comes from. And I find it so interesting that only now, after 4 years, have you actually properly analyzed your downloads and your successes, because that is the whole reason that most independent podcasters start anything, is because they have something that they're passionate about and they just go out and talk about it. And like it just goes to show that it is just consistency and a love of something that will ultimately get you where you need to be. And the amount of conversations that we've had in the past of like, nobody listens, this episode's done shit, like, oh god, it's taken so much time and I don't get paid for this and it's so hard and it's so this, and then you have these tiny little moments of just like, oh
Oh, that's
wow,
why.
that's why I do it. And like this, I feel like on your fourth birthday is just the prime time to do that. And I'm so proud of you. And I speak from every single listener when I say this, just like, thank God you didn't stop when you said you were going to, like 17 times in the last 4 years or whatever it was.
4 months.
4 months, yeah.
People who listen in who might not be in our world of like podcasts and like production and stuff like that. I mean, obviously, I'm very new to that world. I
Mm.
did it from my bedroom for so many years, but it's the amount of hours that actually goes into it. And I don't think a lot of people realize for like an hour's episode, you're looking at for around like 5 to 6 hours worth of work, whether it's guest outreach, whether it's production notes, whether it's the editing, whether it's the video clips, all of it. And,
Hmm.
there are times when I'm just like, is it worth it? So it is really nice to kind of have a bit of reflection and kind of almost
Hmm.
practice like the gratitude of it because, without those kind of like really painful times or no, the amount of hours that I put in the sleepless nights, the bags under my eyes will tell you like how much work goes into this. But I don't think I would change any of it
Oh.
because of what it has given me. I wanted to do again a bit of a deep dive, and I thought I would ask the audience in terms of, the listeners, like what their favorite moments were and stuff like that. And
Hmm.
I kind of really wish I didn't because I was
Was it bad?
really almost like no, like sobbing because I was just like
Oh.
some of them were like really like pinpoint moments, even down to like guests that I genuinely forgot that I had on the show. I had Cool in the Gang on
Oh
the show,
yeah. That
like
was a
completely
throwback.
forgot. Chesney Hawkes completely bloody forgot he came on the show. Even down to someone said the other day there was something that Scarlett Moffat said in an episode about someone her weekly waffle was people wearing high vises and like having like an attitude. And I was like, this is mental that
Mm.
from something so painful that it's I've been able to talk to some of these people that I would now kind of I can't say class as a friend. They don't know who I am.
Yeah. But you have them on Insta, so
But
it's
I have them
basically
in
halfway there.
Oh, yeah.
What's been your standout moment though?
One of the standout moments for me was an episode with Leon Bailey. He's a singer-songwriter and he's got a song called Blind Faith with Chasing Status. And it's this story wasn't actually in the episode because I promised I would take it out. I'm not going to tell the story because it's quite I promised. But the way that this kind of podcast has allowed people to be so vulnerable and so open, like to a stranger, like they don't know. me. Like to some
Hmm.
people, I'm just another interviewer, like on their PR run of like their album, their single. But there's been throughout the kind of seasons these really nice gems of episodes where I feel like I've almost disarmed people because in the nicest way possible, I couldn't give a flying fuck what you're selling, what your new
Hmm.
single is
Yeah.
about, like what your album is about. What I want to know is what you were going through when you
Hmm.
wrote that song. Like, how do you get through, those tough times? And I think it's the biggest standout for me because without me having those conversations, I wouldn't have built up my toolkit of kind of coping mechanisms.
Totally.
But
And
I've
that's
had
what
some absolute shockers.
what shock is.
Shockers.
What do you mean shockers? I'm intrigued.
As in some episodes that will never see the light of day.
Oh yeah, how many episodes actually have you had that you've never aired?
I'd probably say close to 10.
10. Wow. Okay. I wish I was as ruthless as you because I have episodes out there which I'm like, oh, I really need to take that down because it's not good.
But I think it's a confidence thing, isn't it? Because essentially, like, it's my show. So if I don't
Mm.
like it, and I know that probably sounds make me like, I don't know, getting a little bit big for my boots, but I've seen what this show has done.
Hmm.
And I don't want to put crap out there because, I am quite close to some of the people who listen to like the
Yeah.
show, and I will reach out to them, genuinely ask for their advice, like, what do you think of this? And they'd give me that honest feedback. But
Hmm.
some of them I've just been like told what to say. I've been kind of like rock
Yeah.
up and they've whacked up in a coffee shop. And I'm like, nah,
Nah,
we're
this
not
is
we're
not going
not
to
doing
cut it.
this.
Yeah, 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 yeah. It's funny. I was on a call with like a client the other day. She was just asking me about podcasting and like how I started out. I find it so funny when people come to me for advice about podcasting. You probably feel the same because it's like I literally
Yeah, but
started in my
I'd go to
bedroom.
you. I'd come
Yeah, I
to you
know,
for
but that's why
advice.
it's funny because I'm like, I'm just winging it. I mean, this is what I did and it didn't work. So maybe try this and like that might work. But anyway, oh, by the way, guys, if you want to learn more about podcasting, please contact me. I'll put my advice in
Oh,
the show
excuse
notes.
me. I also
Uh,
have a podcast. So if you're going to come to anyone, come to me.
the freelancing life is
No,
a
go to Emma.
battle.
I will go literally on record to say that Emma is better than me at all of this. So if you want someone to
No,
do it
I'm not.
properly, go to Emma.
Stop. If you could go back to the very start and change one thing or anything about what you did or how you went about things, what would it be?
No, I want to know your
Reflective.
answer.
You want to know my answer?
Yeah.
I said three things that I would change. The first is like the audio quality when I started out. Like I was literally in, I just didn't know anything about sound levels or things like that. So I would definitely go back and change that. Caveat, oh my God, Taylor, I was on a date the other day and this boy
Here
goes,
we go.
I'm sorry,
This is
I
why
know
you're back.
I can
This
get
is why you're back.
why is it 3 minutes in I'm talking about weed and then like 13 minutes is about oh so I met this boy and no he's like this audio producer in Canada so we had like quite a lot to talk about anyway he goes on to say that he was like, "Oh yeah, I listened to your podcast." And oh, whenever anyone says that on a date, I'm just like, oh, I just
Yeah.
cringe inside. Like, why did you do that? Anyway, he goes, "No, look, I loved it. I thought that you were a great interviewer." Bearing in mind, I didn't ask for his opinion, right? He's just giving it to me, and I'm just like sipping on my mug, like,
Yeah.
"Okay, thank
Yeah.
you for this." And he's, yeah, I think you're a great interviewer, but I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm like, oh, the sound quality on some of those episodes is really not very good. He was like, I, I'm open to constructive criticism. However,
But not on a date.
on a date, it's a Thursday night. I'm trying to let my hair down. Like, I really don't. I didn't ask for your opinion. And also, I know, like, I started podcasting in my bedroom in 2020. What you think is going to be like audio style quality? Like, get to fuck. Anyway, so if I was going to go back in time, I would change that. And
If
then the other
you
thing,
could go back in time, would you go on the date?
yeah. That's a better question. Yeah, do you know what? I probably would. Other than that, he was quite nice. He was quite fun. Um, but I would say that would be my main thing. And then the other thing, I really didn't make the most of like some of the guests that I had in terms of social media reach and PR. Like I've had some big guests on and speaking to them, and like people who've gone on to do amazing things, and I've like lost their files or just like not
No.
used any. But do you know what I mean? Just like I was so like you, I was just doing it for the fun of it, and like, oh my God, I get to speak to this person. That's sick. Not thinking, oh, I could really grow and monetize this and what, have a bit more of a business head. But the main thing I said to her was just like, I wish I'd enjoyed it more because like I look back at it
Oh,
now and I'm like, wow, I was having such a good time, but I was so worried about everything else that I didn't like appreciate it. So they
that
were my three. Yeah.
when
Is
you
that what
asked
you'd
that
say?
question, that's exactly where my head
Mm.
went, was to not care what other people
Hmm.
thought. Because when I started it, I didn't really care. It was for me, like I needed to talk about what I was going through at that precise moment, and that was my first episode. But
Hmm.
then, as you know, the guests got better, the numbers started rolling in, all this kind of stuff, I lost sight of it. And
Hmm.
very early on, I was just like, oh, well, what next? What next? So I was kind of like, kind of getting lost in like, well, if I have that guest, then people might not listen to it. Like they'll look at it a certain way. Whereas now it's gone right back to roots and look what's happened.
Yeah.
So it would be that I'm gonna kind of copy what you said with I would enjoy it more and not
Yeah.
care so much because essentially people aren't listening for the guest.
Mm.
I mean, obviously they are to a certain degree, but they're listening because it's you and it's your show.
Mm.
And I
Mm.
lost sight of that last year. I got caught up in the names, like whoever was on like a PR list and they were pitching to me. I'm like, yeah, let's do it. That'd be great. And I think the numbers dropped and that's when I was like ready to kind of step away.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, to
But I
kind
think
of,
that's what annoys me about the podcast industry, in a sense, is that some of the most, and I don't know if I speak for you when I say this, but I definitely, in my experience, like some of the most profound, interesting, and wonderful conversations I've had have just been with normal people who don't have a blue tick, who don't have a huge following, but have these incredible stories. And it's what fucks me off the most about getting anything commissioned in this industry is that, and in any industry really, I guess in TV is similar, where it's like, no, they've got to have a name, they've got to have an audience, otherwise we can't sell it, otherwise it won't make any money. And it's like, but you're not thinking about the content. Like, off the top of my head, I'm thinking Olivia Atwood just released a podcast and it's gone to number
yes.
one straight away. And fair play, she has had a run of it. She's famous, she's a celebrity. Like,
Yeah.
obviously that's going to boost your numbers because you have more people following you and whatever. But I just think like there are so many hidden gems in this like world of podcasting which you will never see because they don't have that following.
Yeah. But
It doesn't mean
even
they're any less
on the flip
deserving,
side of that, though, as an independent, I mean, we've had this conversation many times that there is people out there that I'm not going to obviously name names, but there's one in particular that gets very good guests. But to
Mm,
listen to, I'm like, this isn't this isn't good. This
mm,
isn't good. And it can be quite disheartening sometimes. And I think that's just why quite a lot of, you see the stats about podcasts, why so many people throw in the towel with it, like after the fourth, fifth episode, because they're
mhm.
comparing themselves to like the Rogans, the Bartletts, and it's just not attainable. I mean, don't get me wrong, it will be,
One
but
day.
what's going to get you there is the consistency, knocking out
Totally.
and almost, and as a podcaster, ignoring the noise.
Yeah.
God, look at us. Look at us. From 4 years ago to us now, look at us, industry leaders.
I mean,
But no, yeah, don't know what am I leading on to. One of the things in particular why I wanted to kind of have this fourth episode with yourself, obviously because you're fucking great, but two was because I want to talk about a conversation me and you had quite a
Oh.
while ago, and I still remember where I was. I was stood outside the Wave in Coventry, and I was on the phone to you for quite some time, and we were just talking about the whole podcast thing, putting the worlds to right, and we were just like, "Do you know what? We've got something here. It'd be really fun to work together. It'll be really fun to do something." And then one of the things that I said on that call, when you were back in the summer of last year, and we recorded with Julius in London,
Hmm.
you reminded me of that conversation, and you literally said to me on that phone call, you said a few things, and you're now in a position and you have those things. So it's like everything that you wanted, you now have.
Hmm.
And it stuck with me since last year
Oh,
because
you
it's
made me
just like,
cry.
stop it, because I feel like I'm
Oh.
getting all like thinking. But I don't think we kind of look back at those kind of moments. We think we're just kind of making these comments, and you're almost saying it because you're like, oh, you know what? I wish one day I'd have that. So to
Hmm.
now actually be in a position to be like, to have that and to share it with some incredibly talented people, it's insane. So
Yeah.
I'd kind of wanted to, again, thank you, to be fair, for being a part of it, but also remind me of that, because it has been people like yourself and, a few others in, along this way that have really kept me grounded and kind of like
Hmm.
reminded me of the reasons why I'm doing what I'm doing. And it's
Do you know
something that I
what?
don't think I'll ever be able to kind of thank you enough for. So,
Stop. I remember that chat too. I was on the train, wasn't I? And we kept going in and out of
and
signal.
now,
And we'd never even met at that point. Like we'd only spoken on like Instagram and then on the phone. It was so random. But no, I think like speaking about last summer when I said that to you, I think it's because like it is the human condition to always want more. And I think just not even in podcasting, in general life, we're always pushing for something above what we have, whether it's like a new car or a new phone or a new like, but even not even material things, like it's like, oh, I want to get to this level by this age and this and this. And then you don't actually ever, I mean, it's a regurgitating statement, I know, but like we are never satisfied. And I think that it's really wonderful to see you notice that actually you have got everything that you said that you wanted and
sorry, I
some.
just
And
burped and I don't know if the
yeah,
mic picked it up. I'm really sorry. Did you hear that?
no, I didn't hear
I'm
that.
so sorry. I'm really embarrassed then. I thought
This
I'm
is
going to
what
say it in case.
professional podcasters look like.
I thought I'm going to say it just in case you think, tramp.
I think that anyway, to be
Yeah,
honest.
sorry.
So,
Sorry. Oh, sorry. You're on such a like defining thing then. I ruined it. Sorry.
oh no, I finished. I finished.
Oh, it has been a laugh though, hasn't it, over these past kind of like
Yeah.
4 years? Has there been like a biggest lesson that you've learned
Mm.
either about podcasting or even, to be fair, more importantly, yourself?
Mm. I think that just like you're always going to want more than what you have. And like there are so many ways to look at situations. So like I like we started very much in the same place. And if I were to compare the two of us, I would be a failure because I stopped my podcast. No, 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 hear me out, hear me out. If I were to stand side by side with you and compare myself and like because we started in the same place, very level, like didn't neither of us had
Mhm.
knew anything about
Yeah.
podcasting, any followers or anything, right? I stopped 20 not something and I moved to Canada and then I was doing all this other stuff and I am now editing for other people and I'm like developing my own stuff, obviously when we spoke last summer about the pilot with Audible and things like that, and I sacrificed my version of the Waffle Shop, I guess, for those other things. And so in my head, like when I look at you, I'm obviously so proud of you, but I'm like, oh, I wish I hadn't given up 20 not given up, but I wish I hadn't traded 20 not something to pursue other ventures, right? Because then we could both be sat here with these, stories or whatever. And then I'm like, no, because you make choices at the time which is best suited to your life. And like, I think that the one thing it's taught me is just like, you can't be mad at yourself for doing anything that you said that you can't be mad at yourself for making a decision which is what you wanted to do at the time. And like, you also can't compare yourself to anybody else
Anyone.
in especially in this industry. So yeah,
And
it's
you'd
definitely
also
taught
rather
me that.
regret something that you have done than what you haven't as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because,
And
do
I
you know what I
think,
mean?
yeah.
If you hadn't have gone to Canada, you might have already always sat around thinking, what if? What if?
Yeah. Hmm. And like developing the pilot was the most fun I've had in podcasting land ever. And like, okay, yes, getting a commission at the moment is harder than like the hardest thing I've ever done. But I was trying to think of an
I
analogy that
thought,
wasn't
yeah.
like dodgy or sexually based, and I couldn't. And then I was like,
I know you far too well.
people are gonna.
I think the biggest thing that the podcast has actually taught me is that I'm enough. You know, I was
Mm,
always that kid of like told off for talking too much or being too inquisitive or too chatty. Whereas now I'm just like, well, how else do we learn? If we don't ask those questions, how are we going to learn?
mhm,
And I always kind of shrunk myself down to fit in spaces that I didn't fit into, or always forcing myself to sit at tables that I didn't really belong at or didn't really want to be at. And it has taught me that I'm enough. Like
mm,
my voice is valid, like, and you are good at something. You've got a passion for
mhm.
something. You didn't let go of it, and here we are.
Yeah. Oh, and you know what? It just speaks to so many people as well because like everybody listening or everyone who follows you is fucking phenomenal at something. And I feel like we forget that because we're always just told that we're not, or like we
Yeah.
tell ourselves that we're not. And actually sometimes it's great to sit back and be like, no, do you know what? That's my thing. And I'm good at it. Um, yeah, I
Yes,
hear
you
you.
are. Yes, you are. I want to talk about something that was a bit of a passion project for both of us. So we started off as a bit of an idea, but obviously we
Mhm.
closed the doors to the waffle shop and we opened up shop next door
We
with a little
did.
series called Unfiltered, which was insane. Like what we learned in those like short episodes was insane. We were in the
Hmm.
Daily Mail, we were chatting to supermodels, activists, like
Yeah.
actresses, like a celebrity Big Brother winner. No, he wasn't a celebrity at the time, but now he is a
No, he
celebrity.
is. Hmm.
What a ride.
What a ride. No, I loved that. And I also felt like it was such a cool opportunity for you to like expand more of what the waffle shop could be because I think in 4 years the mental health landscape has changed so much and become so saturated, and I agree that it's important to talk about, but sometimes people just want to listen to like random shit, and I
Yeah.
feel like you really honed in on that with Unfiltered,
Do you know
and
what's
it
really
was
nice
just
is
so
that
much
I listen
fun.
to those episodes back every now and again and I laugh.
Yeah.
Like
Oh.
just because you bring out a version of me that not many people get to see. Like on a day-to-day basis, depending on who you are, that version of Taylor isn't there. But in those
Mm.
episodes, I genuinely feel like I was 110% myself. I had so
No.
much fun. But yeah, one of the things that it did like teach me was like it was okay to have these kind of conversations because
Mm.
you know the podcast started like the waffle shop started from me, you know, wanting to learn about my mental health, why I behave a certain way or why certain things affect me. And you know I got to a stage where I was managing my mental health in successfully, I would say.
Hmm.
And obviously, I know there's down days, but you know, it comes with life. But it got to a certain point where I was like, on those down days, I know I'm going to be okay because of
Hmm.
what I've learned through the podcast. But I had evolved so much, but I felt like there were certain episodes, like on the Waffle Shop, I felt like I was going backwards
Yeah.
because I was talking about things that were no longer really relevant for me. They were
Yeah.
relevant to my guests, and obviously I can share my experiences and kind of what I'd been through. But ultimately, it wasn't what I wanted to kind of be talking about. I
Hmm.
mean, one of the things, obviously, I never really talk about the whole sexuality thing or sex or anything like that. You even now, like with my partner, I find it really uncomfortable. With you, for some reason, I could talk about anything. One of the things that we learned about was when we had Annabelle,
When
the
we had
episode,
the
the sex
sex expert on.
expert, she
Yeah,
came
yeah,
on,
yeah.
and the guy who called in about the stinging nettles, like he
Yeah.
couldn't climax without stinging nettles. And it's these kind of things like normally would like make me feel so uncomfortable to talk about. But for
Yeah.
some reason, I don't know if it's just because it's a podcast or it's just such a safe space.
Hmm. And you forget people are listening until you release a clip on social media, and I'm like, no, I didn't say that, did
Oh,
I?
you
Did
did.
I?
You did. There's a few that I picked out for I haven't because I'm still getting over the whole airport situation. If you haven't listened to that, everybody go and listen to that episode.
Oh
But I want
gosh.
to ask you a question.
Ask away.
Should we do it again?
More unfiltered.
More
Oh,
unfiltered,
I'll
more
have to check
waffle.
my schedule, Taylor. I'm very busy. Yeah, it's a yes. Yes, I do. No, I would love to. It would bring me so much joy. And you know what? In the words of Jade Adams, who was on my podcast, hashtag name drop, you need to find your natural highs in life. And recording podcast episodes with you is definitely a natural high.
Do you fancy singing it or sacking it?
Oh my God, yes! I would love to sing it or sack it with you.
It's time for Sing It, Sack It. Is it a hit or are they talking shit? I have actually got two, because you know it's my birthday.
Okay, go wild.
And I'll sing it and sack it if I want to. But my first one that I've got is it's fairly new. It's by the insanely talented Griff. Love her. She's great. And it's one of the biggest things I think I've took away from the waffle. So it's quite relevant. But the lyrics go, but it broke my heart in a million ways. Then I fell apart in a foreign place. All I want to do is find a way back to you because I miss me. I miss me too.
Oh, oh,
Now I
that
know,
gave
see,
me
yeah, I got
goosebumps.
a bit of a chill there.
That
This
hits a
is
little
proper.
too close to home, Taylor. I'm not gonna lie.
But this is what I love about this because, and I think it's just where I'm at in my life at the moment, and even
Mhm.
obviously to be celebrating its first fourth, fucking hell, I don't know what day of the week it is, its birthday, and the event that obviously caused it all broke my heart in a million ways. Then I fell
Mhm.
apart in a foreign place. I fell apart in a world that now I've come to learn that I didn't belong in the first place, and all I want to do is find a way back to you. But I think it was in fact the case that I needed to find myself, and I think through the waffle, I think I've actually found it. I don't think I
Oh,
missed me because I don't think I didn't know this version of Taylor existed or could exist. Um,
yeah.
but on the days when it does get a bit much, I do miss him. I miss him
I
fierce.
was gonna say, do you miss? Yeah, do you miss versions of your past self? Do you know what? Jennifer Aniston released it like a reel the other day on Instagram. It was so stupid, but she turned 40, but she released it with this like audio backing to it, and it was like, I am still that 27-year-old. Like age is just like you are a different person at every age that you are, but you are still that person. Um, so that's what that actually reminded me of. So when you said that, I was like, yeah, that's so true. That even if you weren't happy in a state of your life, you can still mourn for that
Yep.
version of you and like wish for them to be better or whatever. So yeah, no, that's really beautiful. I love that one.
I think I'm in my
Um,
prime to answer your
yeah.
question.
Oh my gosh, you are
So
so
the
in your
best is
prime.
yet to come. Best is yet to come.
Oh,
We singing it.
yeah, I'll sing
Yeah,
that. I'll sing that till the cows
there
come
we go.
home.
I'm
Okay.
gonna go
My
into my
one for you
second
now.
one.
Oh,
Oh, oh no, no, you go. You go.
okay.
My birthday.
Okay, I have one. I have one for you. I have one for you. So, this it is actually funny because when you said let's do sing it or sack it, I was like listening to a song, and this was the song. So I was just like, fuck it, I'll just use this one. I know. So this is called "Scared to Start." I'm gonna pronounce the surname wrong probably, but he's called Michael Markagi.
Okay.
Marskagi? Markagi? I don't know. I'm in my sad girl era, so all my playlists are just like random kind of a cappella singers. Well,
You're
not a
allowed
cappella,
to. You're allowed
acoustic,
to.
acoustic singers.
Okay,
Yeah.
fine.
Anyway, but there's just one line of the song which really stood out to me, and it said, "We can burn out just as long as we burn bright."
Oh,
Mm.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, I wasn't expecting that
Mm.
because it's very timely because obviously I've burnt out quite a
Yeah.
lot, especially towards the end of last year. But then I think it's cheesy as it sounds like in those moments when you are burnt out, you find just how bright you can actually
Yeah.
shine, as cheesy as it sounds.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I thought
That
it
is
was just
good.
it's a really good one, isn't it? Because I would sack it in immediately in my eyes. I feel like if you're burning out, like it means that there's not a balance in your life which needs to be there, right? And it doesn't matter how bright you shine or how well you think you're doing. Like if you're burning out, you don't burn out if you're doing something you love, I don't think, because you find the energy for it. Um,
That's actually quite a lot of pressure, that one.
yeah,
Burn out, burn bright. Well, no, if
we
you burn,
can
like,
burn out.
yeah,
We
you're
can
allowed.
burn out just as long as we burn bright. But it could be taken in any context, right? Like we're talking about it in the sense of like
You
burnout,
do
but
this
I'm
all the
sure
time. I'm like, yeah, I'm singing it, and you're like, oh, actually, you explain it. I'm like, oh god, yeah, yeah, no, I'm sacking it as well.
this is literally how it always goes. I'm just like, but if you look at it from this perspective, this is my English literature degree just coming out. It's like the blinds are purple, which means he was clinically sad.
Technically sad.
Clinically sad. Not depressed. That would be like a dark grey, but a deep
Oh,
purple. I don't know where I'm going with this. But yeah, we can burn out just as long as we burn bright. I like the sentiment and I like the
mm.
you know, the visualization of it, but I'm gonna sack it.
No, do you know what? I got a little bit excited when you first started, but then I burnt out with it, to be honest, because I think it came with a layer of pressure. Like if you're burning out, something's not going right. So
Hmm.
obviously, we know more than anyone, like in those kind of moments, you need to rest.
Hmm.
You can dim the light, but you don't have to burn bright because that is just more and more pressure.
Mm. Oh, you can dim the light, but you don't have to burn bright.
Oh, I'm sacking it. Are you sacking it?
Yeah, I told you that, but
Yeah.
you're only
Oh, you
sacking it
did,
because I said I am. You little
obviously.
copycat.
Just want to be you. Um, this one I picked specifically because I don't know why, but it reminds me of you because I
Oh,
just feel like it's a very Emma thing to say. And it's by Dua Lipa.
oh,
It's
wow.
called Training Season. And the lyrics go, are you somebody who can go there? Because I don't want to have to show ya. If that ain't you, then let me know, yeah? Because training season's over. I just think like with the stories that you tell me and just kind of like, the past situations that you've kind of been in, like I just feel like we're not here to mess around anymore. So training season's
Oh,
over. It just really genuinely the first time I heard it, like it really reminded me of you. And it's just
wow.
that it had that Emma energy. Big E.
EE. She's got big E
B.
energy.
She's got B. Oh, that's the
That
point, actually.
what?
That's a side note. So are the E's in B silent?
B. Like a bumblebee.
But the E's are silent.
B. No. It, well, no, because a capital B is B, but a lowercase b is B, right? So it would be B if it
This
was
is
just a
why I need
B.
you.
There you go. So if it's a capital B, then it would be silent E's, but it's not because you wouldn't use B as a capital B. Anyway, can't believe I solved that one.
Busy
Ow.
but
um, Going back to the song,
sorry.
that makes me feel so happy because I feel like I let a lot of people walk all over me. So that is lovely to hear that I don't allude to that at all. And actually,
No, I
that's
I'm quite
great.
scared of you in that
Oh,
respect. In a nice way, obviously. I know you have a heart of gold, but I just feel like when it comes to that kind of stuff, I'm just like, don't mess me around. Like,
don't
are we
take
doing
shit.
this or we not? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to be more like that now, especially in like, I think both professionally and personally. I think you get to a certain age, don't you, where you're just like, just tell me how it is. I'm really not interested in playing any more games or
This training
whatever.
season's over.
Training season is over. You should know how to do this now.
Exactly. We're back, baby.
Sing
We're singing it, just to answer the question.
it, sing
We're
it.
singing it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, mate, this has been genuinely a lovely little trip down memory lane. Like my face,
Hasn't
I
it?
forgot like these episodes, like how badly they make my face ache.
I know
Like
my cheeks hurt.
I was expecting you to say something like
Oh,
another
nice. Right. Yeah.
nonsense.
Sorry, Maiko. Wow.
Thank
You
you.
are just like the best, most amazing person I've ever met. And no, I am so proud of you and genuinely happy birthday. And I can't be serious. I'm sorry.
I'm just really
But
fished for that compliment.
you're amazing. Okay,
So
when I get back to the UK, we're going to be doing all of this in person. Anyone listening, if you got any topics that you want us to cover,
get in
slide into
touch.
Taylor's DMs.
No more
Uh,
nettles. I'm not doing that again.
no, no more.
S- Still, I don't know why I crossed my legs then. That was.
No, I think we need to talk about sex more. I think you can get out of your comfort zone even more here, Taylor.
Let's do it. Do you know what? The
Yeah.
mental health conversation is important as it is. It's time to evolve. Let's deep dive. Let's just go for it.
Hmm.
Training season's over.
Training
But
season's over, baby.
let's talk about sex. I feel like I'm 33 now, so I think it's time. Thank you for listening. It feels good to be back behind the mic with my podcasting wife. You heard it here. We're bringing Unfiltered back. It'd be rude not to. So keep an eye out, and we shall see you very soon.
Love to all.
Like and subscribe and other wanky shit that we have to
Do all
say.
those things.
We're contractually obliged to
Love
say.
you.
See ya.